be made available the way that I made them available in my previous course, rather in the second semester. So like when you go to this office.com, it will ask you first time say login. So let me sign out from here for a while. Okay, and how it looks like. So let us see how exactly it goes. So you type in here office.com. So when you type office.com, it would be asking you say your permission, your credentials. Now, how exactly you are going to keep that link ready? That's what I'm going to tell you day by day basis. So let us see this. Yeah. Okay. So office.com. So it will ask you credentials. You go there, and if you see towards the left side, okay, of the window, there is something called as OneDrive. So try to see that OneDrive. Yeah. So this OneDrive will give you nearly 1 TB storage. Okay, right now for the data point of view, you can create the folder from here. Okay, you can add a folder ADC submissions 21, and you have to share that folder. Suppose this is the shell, this is the folder that you want to give permission to. So you say share. Okay, and you create a copy of it. Copy the link, and then you have to add that link on like Moodle when I let you know what is to be done. So in this folder, rather you are going to create subfolders for day-to-day basis. Like for example, if we start working say from today, so your first folder into ADC 2021 would be what? Today's date. And then you are going to whatever I would be showing here, you are going to try at home, you are going to take screenshot of it, you are going to add it. So most of the part regarding evaluation would be done on that front. Okay, whatever the activities that you would be carrying out. Let me show you how exactly it would be done. So moodle.sppulms.in. So let us first go to this site. Okay, so I have added this course for you, and you may see like I added few things over there. Like what would be the things? Internal exam, there would be assignment. Now, what are the work from home and forum contribution? I will let you know how exactly it would be done. So work from home would be the thing, like what are the activity that you are going to carry out. So we may change this proportion of evaluation, like maybe like if we do too many things, rather we can change this ultimately to more weightage in the evaluation perspective. Fine. So that decision we will take later, depending upon how exactly you revert back to me by creating those different screenshots. Fine. So like there are books that I would be using, but maybe I will not. I will not stick with these books. Rather, it would be better like if you see something, you try it. Now, with assumption that you have installed Postgres on your laptop, if you haven't, follow this process. Okay. So let us say this is your window with you started with. So with assumption that you don't have Postgres, so you go to sudo -s. Okay. Then you input say for example your password, and then you would be acting as a root. Okay, now simply say apt apt-get install PostgreSQL-11. Okay, so we are working with 11 now because which is a kind of stable version. Okay, and as I said earlier, like MSc people can continue with this course in their 4th semester too. And at that time, we are going to work with source code of PostgreSQL 11. Okay, last year I took PostgreSQL 9.4 rather for everything which I did for 3rd semester as well as 4th semester or maybe 6th semester of MCA final year students. So that we are going to do in this particular case. Fine. So you have to install this. So when your installation is done, okay, what will automatically happen is you will see that the Postgres server will be installed and server is started. So how exactly you do check it? So you write ps-ejh capital pipe grep Postgres. Now, if you see this, like when you fire this command after installation, you may reboot or you may write update db, okay, with root user only. So after that, when you really install it and when server gets started, you should see this kind of tree. Okay, so importance of each of them would be taught to you in this semester. Why these many processes are created, these many children are created for your Postgres. Okay, now when you are done with this, when you check this one, next thing that you are going to try is this PASSWD. You write Postgres. And I'm assuming that you are hearing what exactly I'm trying to tell, though I'm recording it, but it would be better if you try to concentrate on the things that I'm going to show you to you, because you are going to take screenshots of these and you are going to keep them with you. And whenever I ask, suppose after 10 days, accidentally I'm putting a message, you have 1 hour, you are going to share me all files. Okay, now you may say like somebody may download create those files within that time. So, but the number of screenshots would be much more. And what are the screenshots those would be taken? They would be having some internal details in their file header. So I can easily capture when exactly the screenshot was taken. And so you need to do the activity. Suppose we have a lecture today. So today, whatever the activity that I'm going to tell to you, you are going to complete by next session. Okay, so suppose if you do it today only, so it would be better. So you add it there. Suppose you could not do it today due to some issues, you would be doing it tomorrow. So depending upon that, so what are the amount of delay that you are going to see rather, or you are going to apply in respect of submitting that there on OneDrive, it would be definitely hampering your performance in whatever I said as the evaluation pattern over here. Okay, with respect to work from home. So this would be done like even with assumption that suppose if you all come over here after a month or so, at that time even this kind of task needs to be done by you or completed by you within that time. Okay, any question query right now? If you have, you can ask me so that I can start further. So I already gave you now permission for this attendance. So if you go to this attendance, you should be able to access it. Try to see whether can you mark it. OK, this would be done for every session. So I can permit that access anytime within the class time. OK, so it would not be like OK at 6:15 or 6:20 I'm going to do that. No, it would be varying. So even if you are attending that class and if your attendance is not marked within those amount of time, it would not be recorded. Right? OK. Now the thing that you are going to apply is PASSWD Postgres. So press enter. You input your password. OK, when you are done, come out of it. Now press Ctrl D or write exit. OK, now you are going to write. You are going to make use of a client called PSQL. So if you write man PSQL, you should be able to see this PostgreSQL Interactive Terminal. So this would be a client that we are going to make use of to mostly work with Postgres access. OK, and this access would be definitely worked out in respect of the amount of activity that you would be carrying out, because this would be one of the best friend of ours while we are working out all the activities that are needed to be applied for a while. OK, so yeah, so if I write here PSQL to execute the command, now it says you should see this kind of error PSQL fatal role. Now what are the username that you had here? It will show that does not exist. Correct, because we haven't created any kind of role or something like this. So you write here su Postgres. Now you have to use the password which you used over here or which you set over here using this. So give that password over here and press enter. So when you do that, ultimately you will see earlier your user was Nitin. Now in your case it would be your user, and now it logged in with Postgres. Now I simply will write here PSQL. Now for your surprise, you should be able to see that now the way that I tried here, it said this doesn't exist. Now it is permitting me access. OK, Now you may see over here when I wrote this PSQL, ultimately I haven't mentioned what is to be done. Okay, so for that purpose, let us see this. So like if I see man PSQL, there are multiple switches that are available. Simply write this PSQL-L. So you should be able to see that there are 3 databases automatically added. Okay, whenever you install your software, Postgres software. Fine. Now this installation would help you out, or this installation verification can be done with this case. Like you try to see either this with the way that we said to fire this command ps-cjh pipe grep Postgres, or later you are going to check this one so as to see whether it is successfully installed or not. Okay, now when you click on this PSQL, okay, let me first see man PSQL. So there are options available. So let us see those options. So let us see, say for example, -d. Okay, it says -d DB name. So you write -d and directly write the database name. So for example, if I write PSQL, okay, and if I write Postgres, it is showing the same thing the way that it showed earlier. So in this case, when I wrote PSQL simply, it showed me same thing. Same cases here, correct? Now suppose if I tried these 2 commands. So for example, first I saw this. So I will take screenshot of this. And I will add this screenshot on my drive. Okay, for a while, like for example, let me add that screenshot rather on our Moodle comment window. So that upload from my computer pictures and then this. So this will let me like this would be kind of file that you are going to create from the screenshots of the activities. So first activity we carried out was checked how many like whether our service Postgres service started or not. OK, nextly what you are going to do is nextly you are going to take screenshot of this output PSQL. So say for example, whatever I did here from my user, you are going to do this. OK, you are going to do this. So definitely it would be inside your Postgres client. Fine. So you write this. So you are going to take again a screenshot of this and then you are going to save it onto your drive. Sorry, onto your laptop or desktop, whatever the thing that you are having. So you are going to upload that every such kind of image into that folder, and ultimately later all these tarred versions per day basis, you can tar them. How exactly you tar it? So say you go to here. Okay, say /q. Let us write so control D. So say cd pictures, cd. Okay, say ls. So you have screenshots. Okay, so ls-ltr. These would be the ones that we tried today. Okay, so you can see that. So you can say tar -cvzf. Okay, now how exactly you are going to do this? With assumption that everything is done. Star cvzf. Okay, then your tar name. So today's date is 4/10/21. Now suppose my roll number is say N2011. See, say this way. Suppose my number is this. So I am going to write tar.gz. Okay, then star 2021-04 star.png. Fine. Then when you fire this command, it should create a file for you. Okay, then you are going to copy this file in a folder, which you are going to create for ADC on your laptop as well. And then this particular file should be uploaded on say on that OneDrive account with respect to the folder. So day by day, these kind of activities would be carried out. So even if my lecture is not there, say tomorrow, but if you are doing these activities tomorrow, then you say that date would be same 4/10/21. Now I would be knowing what is the date or what is the time that it was created on. Right? So now you may say or if it takes server, I know the different mechanisms to know when exactly that file was created. Okay, even if you forget or if you could not upload that file, better would be what, within say 12 hours try to finish the activities after my class, so that you can repeat and see, like if you face any problem you can ask me on WhatsApp group. Fine. Okay, so let us go back to terminal. So cd ps su postgres. Again I'm going back to my the user. Okay, now we have to create a user. Now this you must have seen there was a user, like for example, if I see when I wrote this sudo dashes on my Linux, it assumed that it is a super user of my system, root user of my system. So this root, this Postgres, this Nitin are the Linux users. Who are they? These all are my Linux users. What are the OS that I'm using here? But now I want these users to act as database user. So for that purpose, what I need to do is I need to see really how exactly I can move further. Now, let me go here. Let me write su Postgres again. Now you must have seen when I wrote this PSQL. Okay, and then when I said Postgres, PSQL Postgres. So it showed me this. Similarly, if I write only PSQL, then it is showing me the same thing. So is there any change with this and this? Is there any change? Yes, please.
No, sir.
No. The thing is, like whenever you write this PSQL without any parameter, it assumes that there is a database exists in the server, your Postgres server, with name to be Postgres, and that's the reason when we wrote this PSQL-L, we could see that there is a database called Postgres. So this PSQL-L commands give you list of databases, and this is the one database. Now, what is the importance of them? We'll work out later. Now, suppose if I want to create my own database, how exactly I can do? So there are two ways. Rather, there are some scripts. So for example, if I write create and press tab. Okay, let me do this here. Press tab. So you can see there is say create DB, create lang and create user. So these are the commands that are script oriented for the database administrator. Now Postgres in this case is my super user of Linux database system. Sorry, of my Postgres database server. Though it is a user for Linux, but it is not having all capabilities as root. But Postgres is having access to your database system. Now, if I try to access, say for example, with root. So if I write PSQL, it said what? Role Nitin does not exist. So let me write sudo -s. I am root now. If I write PSQL, same kind of message would be. So it is not permitting me access or granting me access to my database. Now, how exactly I can gain the access then? To gain the access, I need to go to my super user of server. So my super user of server is Postgres. So I give input. If I give wrong password, then it should show me authentication failure. Now I write simply here PSQL. Now if I have to show how many commands are there, so you write slash or you write help here. It says, OK, these are the commands that you can try. Say, for example, if I write slash copy, right. It tells me what are the different things associated with this PostgreSQL database management system, with whom the control is and so on, like with whom the copyright is. Correct. So let me write help again. So I got this /h. OK, we'll see this. Now let me see first this one. So /?. So /?. So if I write this, these are all commands that I am going to make use of in Postgres server through the Postgres client, this PSQL client. PSQL is simply an interactive terminal, like terminal based interactive UI, which permits me access to my database server. OK, now there are multiple commands which we are going to learn. Rather, there is a One important command that one should know /q, which is to exit, how to exit, because that would be one important thing that one needs to address. Okay, so like you write PSQL. Now, while we tried logging with our user, we could not see what exactly happened. So you write, now I have to create a user. How should I create it? So write /h create user. So let me press tab or enter. It says define a new database role. Okay, syntax. Now you can say, now those who did theory of computation in either bachelor's or probably say in your masters, you must have learned something called as CFG. Have you heard about CFG?
Yes, sir. Context free grammar.
Correct. Okay. So in compilers, there is some extension made with respect to this representation. It is called as EBNF, extended Backus NOR form, and this syntax is shown in that way. Whatever the things that are written in capital are the internal words. Whatever is written in small is to be inputted or given by the user. Whatever you see in brackets is optional. Okay, you may or may not add. And if you see, like with this case, create user, say username. So let us write create. You press tab. I'm pressing tab. So these all create options are there for me. So I'm going to write say US, press tab. It will complete the command. Correct. Create user. Now I have to create a user with my Linux username. So why this is so, we would be addressing. So suppose, like let me take an example of say Tanmay. Tanmay, can you tell me what is user of your user ID of your Linux OS which you work with?
Yes, it is named Tanmay only.
Tanmay.
Tanmay.
So on my machine, you must have seen I am working with Nitin. So on Tanmay's machine, he will be writing Tanmay. So now let me write this Tanmay. Correct. For Tanmay, he will write Tanmay. For me, I am going to write Nitin. Now I press tab here. I will get other options. Create user Nitin. Okay. With what? So you write with super user. We want this to be super user, but it is not like Postgres. The Postgres user that we used, it is not like Postgres. Correct. So if I write here semicolon, so you write with super user, press enter. This is the only day on which we are going to make use of Postgres user. Okay. If I see you working with Postgres, then deduction will start day by day basis, minus 0.5 every day in your internals. Except the first day, like what are the work that you are going to do for date 4 for today's date. Say if you submit it by say next session, till that time you are permitted to make use of Postgres user, super user. Later after this day, until and unless I convey, you are not going to log in with Postgres. Understood what I said? We are going to work with the user that we created. Okay, now let me come out of it. Let me press Ctrl D. Now if I write PSQL, earlier if you recall, it gave us an error. Let us see what the error was. When we wrote this, say for example, with PSQL, it said role Nitin does not exist. Correct? This was the error. Now when we created a user, when I press enter, now my message changes. Can you see this? Database Nitin does not exist. So it assumes that whenever you press enter, it would be permitting access to there's a database existing with Nitin. Now if I have to work with Postgres, I simply will write this. Correct. So if I don't specify any name, it will assume that what are the user that you logged in here, it is going to have database name to be same. If it is not, then it should show you or it should throw an error on you. Your terminal, like database does not exist. Fine. But as I said, we are not going to work with Postgres. So what exactly we should do then? Let us go back to Postgres again. So though we created Nitin to be super user, but we are not going to work with right now that thing. Fine. OK, now you write again PSQL. Now you used or created a user. So let us create a database. Now create database. How much big syntax it will be? Let us see. Create database name. So let us write create database Nitin with Now we want owner to be our user only. So you write Nitin. Okay. Now you must have seen that it took some time. So let me delete this database. So for example. Okay. Now see here how much time it takes. It is not a single second, rather like it is not in a like the way that I am clicking it. Correct. You should see that some amount of time is taken by it. Correct. It is for its own side, like what exactly was to be supposed to be done at that side. So if I come out of this, let me press Control D again, and now if I write PSQL, you should see that instead of Postgres now, I'm able to see this Nitin. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Any question, query? So I will take screenshot and then I will add again it here for your reference only. Only for this lecture, I'm uploading these screenshots. By the way, from next lecture, I'm not going to upload anything. If there is something important, then only I would be adding that. So you are going to create this kind of screenshots the way that I gave you here a sample. Fine. Okay, so now this is your third screenshot that is added. So you are going to create such kind of screenshots into directory and then you are going to upload it. Okay, so this is done. So first thing is what? You have to install Postgres 11. Okay. You have to install Postgres. After installing Postgres, you have to follow these three screenshots that we applied. Okay, after installing. Okay, so first screenshot was to display services. Okay, and see which are the databases. Okay, by writing PSQL-L. So now if I have to find out this, how can I do this? So now you try to see the commands. Let us go to this /? Okay, so there are multiple such options available. So even /? is there, which can be used for a specific command. So let me go to this /d. Informational. I want some information. Okay, try to see whether can you see /dd. When I write /dd, it displays this. Correct. But I want databases. Let us see. Let us go below. Can we see somehow the database is available? So it says /l list the databases. Okay. Let me write first this PSQL-L. This is how we saw the database. Correct. Now if I go to command, if I go here and if I write /l. Now see, is there any difference with both the commands? Output point of view. You should see that earlier there were only 3. Now one was added by us. One is also defined. Okay. So output is same. Is it same? Yes, rather. But in this case, we are trying with command line option. Here we are trying inside the client, PSQL client, by writing /l command. Fine. Similarly, if I want to make use of say /h command for other things, like which one would be the best thing? So we saw create database. We saw create user. Okay, so let me show you again. Create user. You got this. Correct. So now this must be fetching this data of user databases and users from somewhere. So now recall in databases when your DBMS teacher started teaching you these databases in your bachelor's or probably master's, we used always a terminology called say for example data dictionary. Have you heard this term? Data dictionary. What is data dictionary, by the way? Anybody please? What is data dictionary?
Data about data.
This is good definition. Data about data. But which data is data and which data is not data? Okay, now you gave me recursive definition. I am asking you recursive question. Which data is data and which data is not data?
the data which we store on the store in the table, and about that table the information like how many.
Okay, good. Very good, very good. Now let us see where exactly this information goes. Now, if you write /d and you write this pg and press underscore and press tab, these are some of the internal relations, or some even other than relations, there are multiple things. Okay, see how many detailed how much detailed information it stores. Let us talk about now, say pg database. This is a table used internally which stores information about that /l, the command that you tried. Okay, so /l, it showed this. Let us write now select star from pg underscore database. Now it added more details. So let me say control it. Dat name, comma, dat dba from pg database. Now you will see these are the numbers. Okay, here we got names. Nitin, Postgres. This Postgres, template 0 Postgres, template 1 Postgres got 10. That means Postgres is associated with this number. It can be roll number for a while for us. Correct? This 16390 is this Nitin. Okay, so the way that we saw this, can we see user information too? So let us see /u. Do we see anything with /u? See there, can you see any information about users? Do you see it? Okay, if you can see, let me know. There are multiple such options. Okay, suppose if I write /u, it says invalid command. Okay, let me write /u. That means I may not be able to directly access the user information. So how can I see that? So the way that we saw this internal, say what you can call it as table right now, because it is a table. When we saw that there, that d, okay, then pg underscore database, it showed us that this is a table, and these all tables are called as catalog. Okay, there are hundreds of internal tables. Now there are multiple things, that name, that dba, and so on. Even encoding. Correct. That's what we saw. Like when I wrote /l, you will see this encoding. Even collate style is there, CTAP is there, access privileges are there. But some things I cannot see over here. Correct. Some things cannot be seen directly over here. Okay. So similarly, if I try writing, say select star from pg underscore user, it gives me yes, no, I got these numbers. Okay, the way that I saw this, you should see now user system ID is 10 for Postgres, and for Nitin it is this. Now you can see the permissions. User is super user, so we added this true, and rest of the permissions are false. But again, like as it is super user, generally it has it. So suppose if I have to change the permissions of this user, you write alter, as we are super user, alter user. So let us check the command alter user. Okay, so we want to give create DB permissions. Say for example, if I see this, it is not having permission of creation DB. So you write alter user Nitin with create DB. Correct. Now you should see here false. Correct. Now if I fire this and if I write this, now you should be able to see that it got changed from false to true. But this can be done by your DBA. You may or may not have access of system that way. Correct. Access of system that way. Any query question till this time? Okay, so now, like you must have seen the way that I showed, I talked about in the video. I said you are going to learn system programming of database systems. How operating system and database system interacts, we are going to work out it. Now you may see here, like when I created database, where exactly the database is stored. I created this Nitin, correct? Nitin as a database. Suppose if I go here and if I fire, this Nitin was created. Where exactly it got stored? I should be able to see or find out what is this actually and where exactly it is stored. So in next session, probably when exactly we'll be starting our first effectively first session rather. At that time, you will see that what happens at that site whenever we are working with. Fine. OK. So like by that time, try to install Postgres 11. Install it. If you have any queries, you can post it into say systems group only or your operating system group only right now. Though I kept them for a while. Then we will create another group for advanced database concepts and LLAP separately. Fine, so that you can join and query the things. I request all those who joined Moodle course rather, or everybody who is attending this session rather to mark their attendance, okay, on Moodle platform. Fine, which I showed from here rather. If you go here, you should be able to mark your attendance using this. Okay, for your name. So only few people joined right now. I already gave the link rather in the chat window. You can see okay, of Microsoft Teams. Okay, at the earlier stage here. So I gave this link. Okay, if you missed it, so I will share it again.
Sir, do we have some time to decide whether we want to take an elective or not?
Yeah,
Like
we would be there would be after 2 weeks we are going to have registration. So right now, if you already made up your mind with respect to course that you are going to do, you should register Moodle site. Okay. So after 2 weeks, we are going to have a registration process where your electives would be finalized.
okay, sir, thank you.
Fine. So let
Hello,
me stop.
sir.
Yeah.
So I talked to